Sometimes all you need is a little pistol at your side. What's good, everybody? My name is Valor, and welcome to Valtech Armory. I felt the rebrand was sort of appropriate, given my hiatus for about 6 months. But in the meantime, I've not sat on my laurels because I have been busy. I have an entire whiteboard full of things I need to make videos on, and I'm going to try my best to get through them all. And the subject of today's video, as you might have guessed from the thumbnail, is the Worker Nightingale. It is the latest blaster in the recent line from Worker that has included this, the Phoenix 2.0, and the Swift. And put all together, they make quite a nice little loadout. You got the Swift for your long-range sniping, you got the Phoenix for your rapid-fire CQB select fire goodness, and then you have this as your backup, sidearm, tertiary, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's awesome. At first glance, you might think this is a standard blue Nightingale, but no, this one started its life off as an orange one. And then I custom painted it with a Porsche 1911 mint green, along with the slightly off-white, offset against the dark gray and black. I think it really pops, especially given the orange tip, which is something I don't see enough people use when they're painting. Using a little bit of a complementary color can really offset the color of a blaster and make it look even better. There are two versions of this blaster available. There is the Ultra, which is what I have in my hands here. It has the dark gray furniture and hits about 130 FPS on average with a fully charged battery. The other available version is the standard, which comes with orange furniture and hits about 80 to 90 FPS, which I think is a good option for younger players, especially if you don't want to give them, the full meat of a high FPS primary blaster, which this can be, because you can run anything as your primary blaster as long as you have the gear to support it. This being a very small compact pistol with the new Nightingale mags. I've seen people concerned about the durability of these new magazines, that with them being slightly thinner and all that, but in my testing, they are slightly more flexible than a standard Talent mag, but overall I'm not very concerned. One of my favorite features on this entire blaster is nothing too crazy even, but it's that. That is a kill switch for the entire blaster. Say, should you want to turn it off to go into a building or something for rest time between missions for HVZ, or maybe you had a catastrophic jam, maybe you ran into an FEJ in a community bin of darts or something and you didn't realize that you were loading it. With this switch, you can turn off power to the entire blaster. I think all electronic blasters need a kill switch on them somewhere, but should something happen, you can kill power to the blaster and you're good. On the subject of power though, you will need a small 3S LiPo with an XT30 connector. I'm currently using the LiPo that is meant for the Mayfly in this, but I have on good authority that you can fit up to roughly a 650 milliamp hour battery in here without much issue. The only thing you can't really do is fit a LiPo alarm in there as well, which if that is a deal breaker, that's a deal breaker, but I don't feel it's that much of an issue, considering if you used flywheel blasters for a long time, you know what to listen for when your battery's starting to go low and you don't want to really use it anymore, and it's easy enough to kill the power, take the battery cover off, which I replaced my battery cover screw with the old original version of the Strife battery door screw, and I feel that works well with the aesthetic. Nothing too big or anything, and it means I don't have to carry around an Allen wrench to get to my batteries. But yeah, this blaster slaps. It tops out around 130 FPS using the micro wheels, which is the very first time I've ever seen Worker use micro wheels in a blaster. They're similar to Fly with the World, but they have a bit more concavity, and the motors sound a bit like Merlin's, and the spin up is practically instant. Now you can vary your FPS just by how long you pull the trigger. If you pull the trigger slightly to get the motors revving, you can hear that little click. If you hold that for just a half a second before you fire, you'll actually get max performance. But if you need a quick shot at around 90 to 100 FPS, just pull that trigger as fast as you can and you will get a shot out, which means in an emergency or in CQB or whatever, you can just rattle off shots as fast as you need. I could see myself running something like this for HVZ if I got myself a whole lot more of these magazines. The only thing that would make this even better is if it had a select fire mechanism in it, but that would be really complex and would drive up the price of this thing a whole lot more, considering this thing starts out at around $85 for the Ultra one, which is what this one is. You can get the basic one for a little bit cheaper, just because the motors are a little bit cheaper in general. This is an excellent little entry into flywheel blasters for someone who doesn't know how to mod. All they have to do is know how to keep a LiPo battery charged, which is not even that hard, and you can slap it in here and go. And the more blasters like this that get released, the better it will be for our hobby, because it's easier for more people to get into it. One of the initial barriers into getting into high-powered Nerf back in the day was knowing how to mod, or knowing someone who can mod, or buying from someone like me who builds blasters. But this, you buy it, it might come slightly disassembled or not depending on where you get it, but the instructions are very thorough and clear on where each screw goes, and you go. And I didn't even mention how comfortable this freaking grip is, because I can do that. I can rest my thumb on my middle finger and get a really secure grip. And that is all thanks to these new magazines, which some people might bemoan the fact that they have to buy more new magazines, but it's a new standard of mag. People will design new blasters around these mags now that we have widely available and cheap mags of this style. It's slimmer, it has the notch on the side or the back depending on what you like, and it means stuff like this is even more possible for this type of thing. But that's just my take on the whole thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Worker Nightingale blaster and possibly the magazines. And do you plan on getting one? Do you have one already? Have you ran one in a war yet? Because I have, and I love it. And before we go, I want to thank my patrons who have supported me through this 6-month hiatus. I know it's been a little bit spotty and rough, but I've at least tried to keep you informed on what I'm making and stuff, even whenever I'm not making videos. And if you want to become part of the patron squad, there will be a link down below. Starting at $1 a month, you can help the channel out, get access to sneak peek content, and the Patreon-only Discord. And as ever, my name is Valor. Thanks for watching.